Hey everyone, Dan Heilman here, and this is going to be another Summoner's Glory video. Today I will be doing an updated equipment guide. I've had multiple requests to make an equipment guide. I do have one on my channel, but it's old now and it's about time for an updated one. So here we go. Alright, let's first begin with talking about the different sets you can use in this game. There's two sets that a majority of the people will be using. The first one being the gold set here. So this gold set, the reason why people use it is the max HP by 8%, but the big reason is all allies take 15% less damage. So this is all the phantoms and your character. 15% less damage is a big chunk of damage reduction, and that stacks with all the other damage reduction you have on your phantom. So this set alone was able to push me further in the game. I originally started using the Tide set, which is the other viable set, but this set right here gives you all damage. And, you know, this set is great for endgame. If you have no trouble with phantom survivability, you're not getting killed in encounters, and you just want more damage to clear content faster, then you're going to want to use the Tide set. But if you're leveling up and you're not, you know, deep into the endgame, you're going to want to use the gold set just because it'll give you so much more survivability. Those are really the only two viable sets right now in the game. So let's move on to weapons, and I'm going to pull up my spreadsheet here to go through these just because I have screenshots of all this over here. So let's pull out this here. For weapons, there is really 3 weapons that are viable in the game. But for a majority of players, I think they're going to use the Ice Dragon Saber. This one has a lot of pros. So let me just show you the one I will use. I will show the Ice Dragon Saber and the Scarlet Saber in detail. The Frost Axe is okay, but I don't see a lot of people using it. So, Ice Dragon Saber. This is the one I am currently using. It gives you crit rate, and I think that is just your character. But the first ability it gives you is Attack with the Saber, deals 120% damage, absorb the attack bar by 50%. So the reason why you want to use the Ice Dragon Saber is 3 reasons. Well, 2 reasons. It has a high chance of freezing every time you attack, and it absorbs attack meter. So it's a great CC weapon. Unfortunately, it is only single target. That's where the other 2 weapons come into play, but let's continue with this one here. The second ability is the one that will be used on auto first. So this one attacks twice and deals damage and absorbs the attack bar. So the passive here is the most interesting part about the Ice Dragon Saber. When attacking, 60% chance of applying cold status. That means freezing the enemy so they lose their turn and they cannot attack. And it also does more damage against enemies that are already frozen. So that's the main one people are going to be using. There is one other that some people may use, and you'll see some of the top players using it. And it seems like this weapon is really awesome in Arena, but also if you have a lot of effects on your gear that say, you know, chance when hit, chance when dealing damage to freeze or stun, those are really good with the Scarlet Saber. And the reason is because of this ability right here. 4 times damage to all enemies. That means attacks all enemies 4 times and, you know, deals some physical damage and ignores enemy defense. But the real reason why this is useful is if you have a lot of freeze and stun chance or bleed chance on your gear, his very first attack will go and attack all the enemies. So you can land stuns, you can land freezes, you can land bleeds, you can land paralyze. Any of those secondary stats you have on your gear. Let's see if I even have any of those. Yeah, like this one right here. When dealing damage, 8% chance to make the target bleed for 1 turn. So you can have a lot of those. You can have ones that put on stuns. I don't have any others here. But yeah, so that's why you would use this one. So you're attacking the entire enemy team 4 times, and you can place a lot of debuffs. And this one also has, you know, the passive on this weapon is when attacking has a 15% chance of inflicting bleed. Bleed is a useful ability. Bleed causes the target to take additional damage when they're dealt damage. So that's why you'd use that one. And the third one is the Cold Axe. The Cold Axe basically also has a chance to freeze, but it's AoE, but it's a smaller chance. And it has reduced speed instead of attack bar absorb. So I really wouldn't recommend this one. If you really can't find an Ice Dragon Saber, you could use this one, but I prefer the Ice Dragon Saber, and I don't see that many people using the Scarlet Saber. So in the last video I made about this, I had said that in all scenarios, 4-star legendaries are better than 5-star epics. This is the case for all of the slots besides the chest slot. For some reason, the chest slot is different than every other slot in the game. So if you look at, I have a bunch of examples on here. Of course, as always, I will update my spreadsheet and you can look at all this on your own time and just kind of look through some of these. So if you'll notice here, 3-star legendary has the same exact stats as a 4-star epic. Same thing when you go from 4-star legendary to 5-star epic. But what you'll notice is you have more chances to roll extra stats, and they roll higher rolls than this one. So you can see here, I have 2 legendary rolls on these boots here, and here I only have 1 legendary roll. So you get more extra stats on the legendaries than you do on the epic. And you can also see if you keep going here, for the blues and green items here, blue items, you can see I have a blue roll and a green roll. And then here you can see I have 2 of these gray rolls, which don't roll anywhere near as high. Okay, so then I thought that maybe the cloak here, or they call it the mantle in this game, I thought that this would scale maybe similar to a chest, because this is an HP item as well, but this follows the same exact method as the rest of these items here. So you'll see that a 4-star legendary is the same stats as a 5-star epic, but again, you can see that there's more extra rolls, extra stat rolls on the legendary versus the epic. And I did level it up just to make sure that they scale the same, and they do. But look at this. This is very interesting here. So if you're looking at the chest pieces, you can see that it doesn't have the same, it doesn't follow the same pattern. This is the only slot that does not follow this pattern. So you can see that HP for a 4-star legendary is not the same as a 5-star epic. And even these other base stats roll higher. I don't know why they chose to do this, but the chest does not follow the same pattern as the rest of the gear slots. So just keep that in mind. You can see that a blue 5-star piece is the same as a 4-star legendary piece. So just keep that in mind when you're choosing gear. Legendary pieces are stronger unless you're looking at the chest piece here. So, all right. Let's move on from that topic. Let's talk about where you get the different gear, and then we'll talk about the best stats that you want on your gear. So these are where you can find the gear. Witch Swamp is 2-star, Sea King 3-star, all the way down here to, Ghost Vault being 5-star, and Taskmir's Palace will eventually be 6-star once that is released into the game. So, and then these are the stories you have, storyline quests you need to complete to open up these instances. I don't have the level of these just because I didn't record it while I was leveling up. But yeah, so you'll need to complete story 12 once we have some new content coming out, and you'll eventually be able to get into Taskmir's where you can get 6-star legendary gear to drop. So that's where you can get everything. And let's talk about, there's a lot of different roles you can get, and you can see some of the roles here for extra stats, but the most important extra stats here are these that I've listed here, and if they stack or not. I have not tested whether or not these stack. I just pulled this from the other Summoner's Glory spreadsheet that's floating around on the Discord, so forgive me if any of this is wrong, but I have not tested it. So let me just talk about what I think some of the most important ones are. I think that speed is going to be the most important, and that's not only for PvP, but other content as well. If you haven't seen my PvP video and care about gearing specifically for PvP, look up in the top right corner there, and I will post my guide for Arena. Other than that, let's continue here. So at the start of the turn, character receives 3 enchantment energy. This is an awesome extra stat to have on your gear. I have not personally got this to roll on any of my gear yet. It is extremely expensive to re-roll gear. Reforge gear is called in this game. So just keep that in mind. But this is an awesome base stat to get. Sorry, extra stat to get. Each turn, enchantment energy increases by 1. So normally it increases by 1 every turn. So this doubles how much energy that you get every turn. Again, this doesn't stack. Otherwise, these would be extremely overpowered. Another good one to get is max HP increased by X%. So this will increase your character by X%, and then a certain percentage of your stats on your main character gets carried over to all of your phantoms. So this increases your main character the most, but will also increase the max HP of your phantoms as well. Again, speed, super important. I think it's probably one of the most important things in this entire game. So that is a great one to get. Some people I've seen on the leaderboard have speed rolls on almost every single piece of gear they have. That is super useful, especially when you're using something like the cold saber, right? Ice dragon saber. Because if you get to go first, you get to go out there and you get to pick who you want to freeze, you know, because and if you don't land the freeze, you will land the attack bar absorb. So if you have someone you're facing, an enemy that you're really worried about a phantom, you know, wiping out your whole team or reducing your attack bar, target them first and you can freeze or slow them down. Okay. Then there are a bunch of different stats that roll, you know, when taking damage, chance to stun, freeze, paralyze, slow. Apparently these don't stack, and I guess that makes sense, because you could probably get to 100% freeze, and then every time someone attacks you, you know, they would get instantly frozen and they wouldn't be able to do anything. So these ones do stack though. When dealing damage, X% chance to stun, freeze, paralyze, slow. There's a couple other ones like confusion, but I think these 4 are the most useful, and I kind of listed them in order of importance. So paralyze is a slow and increased damage. Slow is just a slow, so that's why that's ranked the least. There's one other stat that I think is useful, and reflect X% of damage taken. If you have a lot of that, you can actually reflect a lot of damage taken. So that one is another useful one to have. Okay, so now let me go back into the game and show you how you can upgrade your gear, reforge your gear, and get rid of gear. So all you gotta do, hit the hamburger button in the bottom right here, click blacksmith, and it'll teleport you directly there. Okay, once you're at the blacksmith, there's 3 things you can do: reforge gear, upgrade gear, meltdown gear. So I'll show you reforging first. I don't have enough materials to reforge. It's extremely expensive, but I already have one up here so I can show you how it works. When you hit refine, what's going to happen is going to change these 2 right here. So these are the secondary stats, or extra stats they're called in this game, that I have on my chest piece already. So say I got something really good in this slot and I want to keep this damage reflection. One thing to note is you can hit this lock button, and then when you hit reforge, it'll reforge, but it will only change this one into this one because you have locked this one. So that's important to know when you're reforging gear. I didn't know this in the beginning because I haven't really done a lot of reforging. I finally have some 5-star legendary pieces, so I have finally started to do reforging. But wow, it goes through materials extremely fast. 5,000 materials just to give these 2 stats here and give you a chance to get something better. So just be careful. I wouldn't use that on pieces that are less than 5-star legendary, really. I really would not use that. So the other 2 ones, meltdown gear and upgrade gear, I'll go through now. Let's talk about meltdown gear first. So meltdown is just, you're literally going to destroy the gear and give you materials so that you can upgrade gear. The easiest way to do it is just to go through here and destroy everything that is green, gray, blue. I would get rid of these instantly because you're really not going to use them. Even 5-star pieces, again, as I said before, a 4-star legendary piece is better than a 5-star epic piece. So these 5-star uncommon and blue gear, they're totally useless. So go through, get rid of all these lower quality items. It only lets you get rid of a certain amount at a time, so you'll have to go through and just keep on going through these. But this is the easiest way I've found. Just look at the colors and delete them based on colors, right? I don't even look at the stats unless they are epic or legendary. So then another thing you can look at is, once you want to start clearing these out, is I just clear out sets that I don't want. You know, all these sets, Triumph, garbage, Dragon, garbage. You know, all these stuff is garbage. So the only thing I will keep is Tide sets and gold sets. As I said earlier, these are the most useful sets to have. There's that. Let's move on now to talk about the final thing you can do here. Final thing you can do is upgrading gear. This one's simple. You just drop something in. Let me upgrade this one. And you can see the materials it costs to boost it. And then you can see the success rate down here. So all you do is hit boost and boom. You get that. So again, if you look at the gear, you can see when you get big boosts here. So if I go to a weapon here, you can see +6, +12, +18 boosts increase the skill level and change the appearance of a weapon. So you can see my weapon is 13 right now. So I have level 3 abilities here versus level 1 when you start. So, okay. That is everything to know about equipment. Hope you enjoyed the guide. Go down, smash that like button, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. I appreciate your time and have a great day, everyone. See ya.